everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Day Lavender, and I would love to start off with saying thank you. Thank you so much for the views, for the likes, the comments, and the subscriptions. Subscribing to my channel. I would love to know how to view who subscribed. When I clicked the bell notification, only one name came up, so I would love to shout out to NYC Danny L Rebel. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. You know, these likes, these comments, and all this means so much to me because it pretty much tells me that you like the content that I put out, so that encouraged me to continue to put out more. If you can, please let me know how to view subscribers, the names. I would love to know, so I can continue shouting out my subscribers. Right now, starting off with, I have a total, I believe, 40 views total with my 2 videos. Started 3 weeks ago, and now with 5 subscribers, and this means so much to me. It just shows that, you know, I'm in alignment. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be. I love putting videos out to show you how I do things, things that I've learned, things I love to do in my daily life and daily routine. And I will continue to put this out because it really does help me just heal, to continue on, continue doing things I love to do, and helps me connect with the collective. It's really something that I do believe that, you know, I'm put on this earth to do. And the topic I have today is more so of a learning, like a being aware of something when it comes to doing and dabbling into spirituality, or with these traditions, these ancient traditions. There's something that a lot of people may not be aware of, or something that they may not like to speak on, but it's something a topic that I would love to speak on, because it's something that is definitely, something that is definitely blatant in my life, something that is surrounding my life, something that I am currently doing and would love to continue doing. That topic really is breaking and ending generational curses. Just warning, I definitely will touch on topics that are really heavy, maybe so triggering, because when it comes to ending and breaking generational curses, you are essentially touching on something in your bloodline that is something that needs to be eradicated, something that just simply needs to end. You are simply ending something that is very prominent in your current family or in your bloodline, that you believe it's in a way hindering, holding back, or hurting the family in a way. For example, alcoholism, abuse is something that you believe, or something you're aware that it cannot continue for the generations forward. And before I touch on this topic, I would love to shout out to my black sheep, the outcasts, those that feel like they do not fit in. This is literally something that I can speak on experience from being the black sheep in my family. This is really for you to understand that, you know, you're not crazy, you are right. There's something that you see that's in your family that you do not want to continue any longer. When you make that first declaration that you want a better life for yourself, for the community or family that you start going forward, that's something that really does change your life in an instant, because you are aware that there is something wrong, and there's something that you want to change simply for yourself and for others in your environment and in your life right now. Please keep going. This is a sign that you are on the right track. This is meant for you to do things differently in a way so that life for you is better. Things that go for you, it's supposed to go differently for you. Life is supposed to be easy. Of course, life has those obstacles in your way, but you're meant to have those tools, be given that battle armor to just protect yourself, to keep going, to ease through the uncomfortable feeling, just to come out on the other side, just, with wings, just to fly higher and higher until you get exactly what you deserve. And as I say in the beginning, ending generational curses can be a whole gambit full of things. It could be ending alcoholism in your family, abuse, the way you treat yourself and the way you treat others. It could simply be taking on a family tradition, or simply go out and travel outside of your small town, venturing out and doing things differently because you feel deep in your hearts of hearts and your soul that there's something out there, something that you know that is calling you, and you just know that when you get there, things will just feel so much better. And speaking as a Black woman, or just someone who has, in the past, their family has been, or their ancestors have been enslaved, is something that trauma and pain is definitely passed down through DNA. It's definitely passed through the bloodline. And simply doing this, ending these harmful habits, these harmful things in my family, will simply heal myself, heal the bloodline. Venerating my ancestors will heal the bloodline. Ending these bad habits will heal the bloodline, just because you just know that things don't have to be hard anymore. Things don't have to be so painful. You want to invite more harmony and peace and love, and that truly is what will transform your life for the better. And being aware of your history is definitely empowering, because you realize what you no longer want to carry with you in the present. Healing this pain and trauma is definitely transformational. It's just being made aware of what something is present within you helps you put a name to it, so you can literally call it by name and say, you no longer can stay here anymore. These habits, and we'll talk about our parents, I'll talk about it in categories. It starts with self, then you realize something with your environment that no longer works anymore, your family, your parents, your childhood, your friends, your romantic partnerships. It truly is all connected, and it does start with your childhood. Something that happened while you were a child, that moment when you were pure, you were open, you were connected to source, you were much connected to the other side at that point in your life. And understanding what went wrong there is where you'll find your answers, where you'll connect the dots and realize, okay, this is where it started, and I see where this is going, and let me correct and change and calibrate some things so that it no longer continue anymore. And being aware of that trend, of that pattern, it will save you. And I guess the introduction, I really did touch on the topics in a way, but I will break it down I guess it doesn't when it comes to the stages, it's not really in order. It's just how I wrote it down for this video. And it honestly, when it comes to that first acknowledgement, realizing what will stay, what no longer serves you, it just, I guess you see how it kind of goes by step and step. It touches on every branch in your life. And then I guess by using my experience as an example, hopefully you can connect it with yours and see, okay, this is where I am too. This will help me identify what I need to work on, and also just being like, okay, good job, I'm in that same space as well. And just to make you feel much better about the experience. I don't think I really touched on this, but when doing this work, going back to my ancestral tradition, I can definitely see how it uproots some things in a way. That's why I always tell people, when you start this, this traditional, if you want to do traditional ancestral work or spiritual work, the moment it's really working is when you start improving yourself and things around you start, getting in alignment together. That's really how it starts working. Now with self, let me use first category. Let me use something from my life. I definitely have noticed since I was a kid, I was very angry, extremely angry. I had really bad anger problems. I was always so upset. I never really could quite pinpoint on what was really hurting me. Why was I in so much pain? And then on my journey, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is hurting me. It didn't really quite help going to family members or my parents, because it's just like they aren't aware either. That is definitely that first realization. You are the black sheep in a way. You are kind of different from your family. If you are that black sheep of the family, you realize that awareness, being aware of something not right, something doesn't feel right, something doesn't feel good within me. That's how you know you're different, or that black sheep, because it seems like everyone's asleep in a way. They're not aware, and you are. And it really is like God, like your ancestors. It feels like you are the chosen one to really wake everyone up to do things differently, because the way things are currently going, it cannot continue. I noticed for me, definitely as a child, when it comes to being angry, I realized I had my outbursts, of course, but I would push it in, and I realized, of course, pushing it in, holding it in is not going to help. And on the flip side, if I do let it out, of course, it's going to be an outburst, because I didn't really learn how to use my words to breathe through it. That's something I had to teach myself. And it's really hard to go to others to want to know how is it best to communicate, how should I conduct myself, because everyone around me simply did the same thing, so they didn't really know how to communicate better. We all, everyone in the family is like, oh, well, we all push it down, we don't speak on it, we keep the peace, and that's something that you cannot continue. I've noticed that there's a lot of things with myself that need to improve, and that realization is definitely healing. I touched on the anger problems, not being able to communicate effectively, tell others how I felt, speaking up, and also, what's the other word? Just being there for myself in a way. Also, just a lot of traits that I definitely seen exhibit with with my parents and my family members, I definitely carried it with myself, and which other topics I'll touch on. You can see how it branched off. It snowballed into a lot of bad habits that are exhibited to other people, and you see, and also with the bad habits within yourself. It's, in a way, it seems like it's attracted, like you attract that same behavior around you, which I will definitely touch on. And it's interesting how it all connects to when you were younger, how you treated yourself, how you were being treated, and then how when you get older, you kind of attract those experiences, those people and those environments around you. It really is all connected. And the best thing about being aware of these things is that you now can put a name to it, and you say, okay, well, I realize this is about myself, and I would like to work on it. I would like to speak to myself better. I would like to speak to others better. I would like to not resort to anger as the first thing. I like to not, be petty. I don't like to play games. I would like my relationship with myself to be mature, because I would like my relationships with everybody else to be mature, to be better, to be wholesome, to be loving. And then I also touched on how the next step really seems like it's the environment. Once you declare that with yourself, it seems that everything around you starts moving and shifting towards that declaration. Environment meaning it could simply be, I want to be at a school. I want to choose schools that are matched with that self, that higher self, things to be more in harmony, loving, and supportive. Choose better schools. You choose a better job that reflects that. You start even attracting that to you. Attracting those things where simply, like, if you are looking to pick up some mail, you find the name of a school or a job offer comes to you. It's like, I think that's why it's so important to want to improve self, to get to a better point in your life, so everything around you starts elevating towards you as well. And truly, once your environment, the energy around you starts matching your energy, it seems like everyone around you has to meet you at that point. If not, they will slip away, they will fall away, and there's nothing you can do. And simply, you should speak gratitude over that moment, because it really is a blessing when you see what you called towards you, what you manifested. It's a blessing to really see how everything starts to just come together, because it's simply showing you that, okay, what I ask for, what I put out there, I shall receive tenfold. And that's truly what you want. And it will be hurtful, especially when you was in that energy for so long. You're stuck in that energy, unwilling to do that work, that internal work. If you were okay with being in that space and everything starts falling away, it really can be painful, because you didn't realize, okay, well, this work does require a lot of leveling up, a lot of internal work, a lot of crying. It have those low spells. It does get lonely. And if you're not used to that, you were used to just being around that energy that was not serving you just because you didn't want to be lonely. That can definitely be a problem, and as something to work through. Prayer, this ancestral work, working on your cleansing, your baths, it's a common thing you have to do to work through. It's something you can't just do overnight. It's a process. For example, just when it came to moving out, away, sever the ties with certain family members that were really toxic, I did have to continue to do my cleansings. I had to do a lot of reading. I read from the book of Psalms, light a candle, some type of ritual work that helps you through it. You have to continue doing it. And that's kind of in that same stage of when it comes to that self and environment. You realize where it starts and what you need to continue. That realization, you got to stay open, be open-minded, continue that work, because it's something that will definitely be so beneficial for you on the other side once you get out of that. And it really isn't overnight. It sometimes doesn't take weeks. It does take a long time, because if you were in that energy for a long time, it's going to take a lot of digging and uprooting until you can feel better. You understand, okay, this is what I was meant to do. It does look a little, dark in the beginning, but I promise you, as you keep going, you will see that light at the end of the tunnel. And then when it comes to your family, you will get a lot of people who are used to that old way of you doing things, that old you, and that can be very triggering in a way, and it may hold you back on the process. But simply, when you have that taste of seeing how things kind of shift and move and are support, the energy that supports you, I promise you do not want to go back. With family, you will get a lot of gaslighting. You will get a lot of people who don't support you. And if you're committed to this type of work, you know that you support you, God supports you, whoever you believe in, the universe, source energy, your higher self supports you, your ancestors support you. And that support really does move mountains. The family members that, will turn their back, gaslight you, simply how they feel does not matter. Because remember how I touched in the beginning, you are the chosen one. You are the black sheep. You're the one that simply is awakened to all these possibilities, knowing that there's something for you out there that's different than the ones before you, how they did it. For me, when it came to family, I would get those comments like, well, why didn't you say something earlier? And why are you now bringing this to me? Or I'm vocal how I feel, and it's, well, maybe you need to shift your perception. Maybe you need to just, not say anything. Just maybe it's not as bad as you think. And it's, those type of comments that will make you be, okay, well, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I need to not say anything. And what I'm here to tell you is no, you're not crazy. You do need to speak up and say something. And what's truly healing is when you say what's on your chest, when you put it out there how you feel. And most of the times you're not going to hear a lot of things. You're not going to get that apology back, or you're not going to get that comforting feeling, or the hug, or to say, oh, I'm so sorry, you were right. Most of the times you're not going to get that. And being okay with that truly is what's going to give you that confidence to just speak up for yourself, to speak on things that are, in your life that are hurting you or not in alignment with you. It gives you that feeling that, okay, push through. They seem to not understand or not, be mindful of how they're treating me. They're not, in agreement to or willing to listen. So be it. This is for me, and this is not for me to get that apology. This is not for me to, get that type of, what's that word, like you imagine, get that how you imagine it would go in your head. It's okay. You realize it's okay. This is not for them. This is for you. And you know that when you branch off and break away, once you declare, this is my boundaries, this is how I deserve to be treated, and if you cannot honor that, I'm gonna go out and venture off and hopefully to attract that community, that family that meet me where I want to be at, that respects my boundaries, that loves me, that support me. It's just something that that, okay, this no longer serves me. I'm gonna go out and in search, or more so just feeling good, knowing that everything around you will support you because you support you. It's like I said, it's like they're not saying as above, as below, as so below, as internal. I feel like as external. Yourself, that declaration you make with yourself, your higher self is aware of what you deserve, and then everything around you starts attracting towards you. Things will start gravitating towards you. And then in a connection with family, I guess it's like that awareness of how you're treated as a child. Knowing how you did not like to be treated, and knowing that if you choose to be a parent, you would not want to treat your children like that. That is something that is huge to be aware of. For me, I realized I want to be better than my parents. Truthfully, I feel like I am better than my parents, and I would like my children to be better than me, because simply, wouldn't you want a life for your younger ones? Wouldn't you like their lives to be a lot better? Would you like them to have a childhood to be raised on unconditional love? I was raised on conditional love, and being aware of that was definitely like, just the word for me is really numbing, just to realize, okay, now I see reason why I treat myself and why I treat others, because I was raised on conditional love. In my interpretation of conditional love is simply seem like if I did something good, cool, so be it. If I did something wrong, oh yeah, we're going to take something away, and we're not going to explain to you what you did wrong and why you did wrong. We're just going to punish you. And it was definitely hurt and hindered me more than anything, because I didn't have that chance to really talk through that. Also take away my voice. I didn't really understand what I did wrong, so I'm just over here thinking I'm a bad child. And also just simply, I just didn't really understand why I felt like I just couldn't do anything right. And I feel like that did manifest into me being a perfectionist, wanting everything to be right, because it seemed like I did everything wrong. I didn't really know what exactly I did wrong. And that also ensued in my outburst, wanting to just, I'm a bad child, then I'm gonna be a bad child. If my day's ruined, everyone's day ruined, because I can't seem to get the answers that I need. What is it that I'm doing wrong? How can I fix it? And it's like, then so be it. Then if I can't get some type of peace some type of answers, then I'll make sure if I'm not right, I'll make sure everyone around me doesn't feel right. And I know that's something that I carried on into my relationships. You know, it was like, if I'm not feeling right, I make sure everybody feels wrong, and that's not okay. And that's something I definitely don't want to bring on to my children. Realizing how I was treated, I do not want to treat my children like that. Also being aware that our parents, we are human. I am human. We don't always know what is right. Parents, we're not always right. I am a mom, and I am seeing where I can be patient. I am understanding humility. And I feel like that does take the pressure off of parents. Knowing that we're human, we're not always right. We do make mistakes. That's something that we need to see. So that your child doesn't feel like the child doesn't have to feel like, oh, well, the child we have to be perfect too. We got to be hard. We don't speak on our emotions. That's something you don't want to pass on. It's very harmful because it makes someone feel like there's no room for mistakes. When it comes to our emotions and how we feel, oh, well, I got to keep it in because I want to be hard. And that's definitely something I knew that I carried on. I need to speak on how I feel. I cannot keep everything in, because it's going to just manifest into a big blow up, and then I'm not understanding why that blow up. It's just because everything built and I didn't touch on something. That's why it's so important to just understand that, that human side of us, and to take care of it and be gentle with it. Because we see what happens when you do hold things in, when you don't touch on things, it seems to not get better at all. And then when you do get those comments like, well, why didn't you say anything now? Or why didn't you say anything before? Why are you saying something now? Understand that when it comes to trauma, be gentle with yourself. At first you didn't realize something was wrong until you woke up, until you really, if you do work like this, when things are starting to uncover, you realize, okay, I'm speaking on it now because I found my voice and I realized I identified what is wrong. Before, I didn't really know what was wrong, because we all were just in that same space of just ignoring it, not talking about it. And I'm the one that will say something, and if I did say something in the past and you chose to ignore me, well, this is why I'm now bringing it up now, because I now have a voice. I'm now able to, I have the push and the confidence will to really take care of it and and if and just if you do have those people that seem to feel like play the victim, which I had that a lot of people, a lot of family members or people that play the victim. It doesn't feel right. It seems like they don't want to correct the issue. They kind of want to take it as an attack. They want to be defensive, and if they do, so be it. If that's how they feel. But what's more important than anything is how you feel as well. Find the right words so that it can be easily digestible, and sometimes that does take a lot of work. If you use a lot of words like, well, this is how I feel, it seemed like, for example, for me, it was like, well, I would say, well, I would tell you how I feel, but because of the way I said it, or if I don't do the things in the way that you want me to do it, then you're not, you don't want to take it in as constructive criticism, or just take it as this is how I felt. And you could, that can definitely help when it comes to getting your words across, using examples from your life. I know that for me, I know that my people like to give me the title of truth bringer, or truth seeker, or light bringer. It's something I realize is my ability. I can read people's souls. I can see right through things. And as I was younger, I didn't have the right words. I didn't really could put my words together. I knew exactly how I feel, and then now that I can put my words or my feelings into words, now it's kind of like it comes out like like speed. I'm like, oh, I see the way you're treating me. I don't like to be treated like that anymore. And if you cannot honor me, then I shall be around people that treat me and uplift me and support me and honor my boundaries. Simply like that. Put it like that. And if they continue to not see that, that what they're doing is hurting you, that is not your problem. It was never your problem. truly you do deserve better. And it's time to really take this first step as a learning experience. Be aware that this might be how things are conducted in your life. If you've got to bring this to a lot of people, take this moment right here to practice this, run through it with yourself. Simply go ahead and have that conversation. It's like you got to rip off the band-aid, jump head first. I truly believe you will feel better, because your childhood self sees what you're willing to do to heal things, to do right by yourself. It really does seem like your higher self, your childhood self, will make sure that it's healed. Make sure your environment around you is supportive, and it's really the most satisfying experience ever. And then with the topic of romantic partnerships, if you were operating out of that space, if you were like the person that was very hurt and liked to hurt people, if you carried your baggage and trauma on your back, it seems that you may be feeling like, okay, why am I attracting these people that are kind of like reflecting that? Why am I attracting people that are kind of like how my parents treated me? Kind of see how things kind of connect in a way. You once you realize it really is all in connection, when you realize how things kind of mirror each other, it really does sober you up to realize, okay, things cannot happen like this anymore. For example, my parents are very emotionally uninvolved. They're not present. They don't love me unconditionally, and I definitely reflected that. I attracted that in my partnerships. The people were very possessive. I had, really bad helicopter parents. They're really, well, I guess the people were possessive and obsessive. They were not supportive. They're very insecure, very narcissistic. Not only did I reflect that, probably attract that because that's how, that's what I was used to. That's what I was raised on. I feel like that was also myself. I attracted probably people how I felt by myself. I didn't believe that I could be loved. I didn't believe I was lovable. I didn't believe that anybody would want me. I just didn't feel like I didn't do anything right. And once I changed that relationship with myself, once I had that conversation with, my parents, it was like that's when, I attracted the right partner. I attracted the love of my life. We ended up having a child together. Things seemed so much more in bliss. That realization that I no longer want to hurt people. I want to be more communicative, more loving in my relationships. And if you can't be present with me in a relationship, then I no longer want to be, dating you. You got to put your foot down. What do you want? What do you deserve? What type of treatment do you deserve? What type of treatment will you no longer accept? It's something that it's a thought, it's a conversation you need to have with yourself. It's definitely a relationship with yourself that's more important first before you can really get in a relationship with anybody else. Those relationships where you feel like you have to play games, or you have to play like, oh, who can care less the most. When you're in this line of work, you realize you don't have time for that anymore. Once you start ending and breaking generational curses, you realize all that petty or bad habits, those behaviors start to fall away. You want more meaningful, more wholesome relationships, because you do deserve those relationships. Those relationships will nurture you, help you grow. It is important to have a community of people that is supportive, and of course, more importantly, I do feel like in a way it does start with self, but simply just going out there, meeting people, getting outside of your comfort zone, start doing those hobbies. For me it was this, and the modeling, start getting out there, feeling more alive, finding your purpose. It just feels like how everything just starts to fall in line. And then it was interesting because it was like, they say things like start dating yourself, and I would treat myself to things. And it's funny how now I attract to someone who likes to treat me things, gift me things. And it was like I wasn't even looking for it. I just love to look pretty, get into makeup, do my hair, just start making myself feel good, because it feels good to feel good. Taking care of my mental health, taking care of my physical health is so important. Your body is a temple, is a vessel. We're humans. It's what's gonna, if we take care of it, it's gonna drive us, live a longer life. And what's more important is to be in a romantic, also so important is to be in a romantic relationship with someone who kind of like adds on to that high life that you feeling good. They complement in a way. They like, you're not depending on them to make you happy. They complement you, they add to your happiness. You're already feeling good, and they, boom, it's like the cherry on top. That's definitely what you need to look for. And when it comes to friendships, if you were back in that space where you were, having bad habits, you probably were attracting people who were in on, doing this bad habits. If you had a bad drinking problem, probably were around people that were heavy drinkers, and you realize, I don't want to be a heavy drinker anymore. Time to tell them, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. If they don't support it, then that's when that group will fall off. For me, it was definitely, I was again emotionally uninvolved, kind of didn't want to speak on how I felt. I wanted to stay to myself, and I attracted people that just, like my parents, I would close myself off, like my quiet time, and my parents didn't understand. They saw as, oh, she being a bad child, she hates us, instead of understanding I do like my time to myself. And I feel like I attract that with my friends if I'm not always on them, calling them 25/8, not always always in their face. They would see, oh, she hates us, she thinks she's better than us, she don't want to be around us. And it's so important for me to now be in those friendships now that understand that I'm gonna take time to myself, and I'm also gonna have time for you as well. That's balance. Healthy friendships, healthy partnerships, is best to have that balance, to have your hobbies, have the things that you can go to recharge, to regroup, to then have time to go out, be with your friends, be with your partner. How can you fill anyone's cup when yours is empty? You need someone that's also not so codependent. They can depend on themselves. And then when they come to you for your friendship, it's like, again, that cherry on top. But yeah, it's very quite interesting as I'm talking about this, how everything seems to connect. Just from my childhood, it reflected outward. I attract a lot of people that seem to not want to understand me, that really want to get me, hear me, feel me. It just felt really lonely. And when it came to just cutting everyone away, saying my piece and walking away, it really was so freeing. Because it's like it really felt like I was doing so much for others, and when it came to what I wanted, no one could honor that, and it really was frustrating. And it really did feel like it. It really did feel like when I started on that journey of wanting to start modeling. I want to start modeling because it makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel pretty. Getting out, getting myself together, and looking forward to something. It felt good, not doing the same thing over and over again. And I remember having that conversation with myself, like, why am I around people that seem to not keep a relationship? It was like things were just so up in the air. Everyone had a situationship, and I realized this is not okay. I can't just date around forever. Kind of want to just be with someone who's serious. And then it was like, okay, well, let me look at myself. What is something that I'm doing that's not honoring myself? And that's why I went ahead and just did modeling. And then it came to this tarot, divination, shaman work, being a healer, identifying what, with myself, what is not working, what's no longer serving me. That kind of gave you my answers. And it was like, okay, with this information, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to take this seriously, or am I going to continue to ignore and kind of just sit in a space that, like, it's time to outgrow? And it's one thing I've noticed, this, doing these things, it does force you to grow, to change, to break things down, to close cycles. Because one thing I know about your life is like it will continue to bring you the same people, the same situations over and over again until you get it right. Until you wake up and realize that pattern. It's like, why everybody in my family, why do we do this? Why is everybody had this unhealthy relationship with money? Why does it seem like we are in jobs that make us unhappy? Why are we in relationships that make us unhappy? Why are we okay with this? Why, again, people are divorced? It's time to really look at those cycles outside of yourself and with yourself. And then once I had that realization that, I'm the chosen one, I remember it was that feeling like, why me? For me, it was my grandfather on my father's side. He came to me and in my dream, he told me, you are the key. Didn't quite know what that meant, but now I see, this life being the person that's different, that's supposed to do things differently. It's a lonely life, but it's truly rewarding. I asked, well, why me? And it's like, well, why not me? Why not be the one to just have a fulfilling, harmonious, and peaceful and joyous life? And it does take a lot of work, but it's interesting because it seems like I have, my people, God Almighty, universe, everything around me seemed to give me that battle armor, the tools I need to push forward, to see past, the illusion, to see beyond the veil, what's out there truly that's for me, and to reach for it, because it's like it's destined, it's meant for you, it's placed, in the stars for you, was meant for you even, when you were a soul, a being in the womb. Truly, you are meant to have better. You are lovable. What you want to put out there is meant for the world to see, to enjoy. Your existence is needed. That's one of the words I always hear. We need you. What you have to put out there for the world to see, it needs to be done. For me, I'm a healer, I'm a teacher, and it was so difficult to fight through the words, the telling me, that I internalized the words saying, why would you want to do something like that? No one wants to see that. And to feel like I wasn't, not to really get that support, I just had to push through and support myself. It is trust me, I know it's very difficult. And I feel like, I started my journey in 2017, and here we are in 2021. Now, me finally putting my face out there, put my words, my journey, my experiences out there. I realize, like I said, it seems that when I do help others, it does help me. Wanting to heal others, it does heal me in turn as well. And I don't know if I already said this already, but it really did feel so good standing up to those people and walk away from those people that no longer served me. And I would really say I'm right now in a place where, and it took a long time, I wouldn't say I'm angry. I moved from that feeling of anger to now a little bit of irritation, because you have those words like, why didn't I do this sooner? But I have to give myself grace and patience to know that it's all a process. It all takes time. And again, I gotta understand that I'm human. I'm not gonna get things right the first time. it is a process. And that definitely concludes this video. That was a very heavy topic that I touched on, and if you made it towards the end and watched it all, thank you so much for viewing. Definitely continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Definitely comment. Yeah, definitely tell me, you know, whatever you feel comfortable to share your experience. Did I speak on something that resonated? Or simply, if you want to just vent, just let's have that conversation. What would you like to share, you know, that you feel comfortable with sharing? And that's definitely something I would definitely love to have, a community where we can just share things, speak on things. You definitely see how I feel about that. It's definitely important to start healing, start that journey. I'm definitely so grateful for this moment, that I honestly will say that was truly healing for me, to finally speak on this, you know, and share it on my channel. It definitely feels good, and I definitely will continue to do stuff like this, you know. Hope you do enjoy, like, you know, seeing this content. I definitely will, you know, continue stuff like this. I definitely will try to shoot post 2 videos periodically. I know last ones I posted 3 weeks ago, so I'll definitely try to stay active and present on my channel. I definitely will try to, because I do like doing things like this. And again, thank you so much for watching. With love, Day Lavender.